Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to do another Rate My Base episode. We're going to go ahead and attack Iron Paladin. We are on King J-Dub. So same thing, nothing's changed equipment-wise. We got a little bit of fire resist. And then about 12% speed boost. So in this series, we go in there. We don't attack with scrolls. I try and come up with the best strategy just based on the mini-map and the troop and tower selection over here. I've never attacked this person before, so I'm going in there blind as you would if you're finding a random opponent. And I'll give you my observations and analysis on all things. So right here, this shows you how tough he should be. If it's under 10, it means you should be able to 100% his base. And you can also look over here. It roughly falls in line. He's 1,800 trophies. We are like 2,200 trophies in this account. So we're going to only get 5 trophies when we beat him. And we should be able to typically beat him. You also have a good indicator of the metal over here. If it's high, that means a lot of people have failed and that he has a tougher base. So being lower, around 76, 86, 90, whatever, typically means they are around your level or a little bit weaker. So you should be able to beat them. So looking at that, we should be able to get 100% here, as long as we don't make bad spell and troop selections. Looking at the base here, he has a nice little road that has his ranged troops able to sit over here and shoot down. The only problem with that road setup is that there's nothing really stopping the hero from getting over here and getting to the troops. When you do something like this, you need to have towers and buildings and barricades over here that will actually delay the hero from getting to the big horde of troops that are destroying your reinforcement troops that are walking up. So this spot won't really be that effective. A lot of spikes. Typically when you go up into higher level gameplay, you want to replace your spikes for more barriers and barricades because they have a lot of life, and the spikes have very, very little life and they don't do as much damage. And people are using a lot more ranged troops. So that's a generalization, is you typically want to remove your spikes and then start upgrading barricades and barriers. So I don't think I've ever seen this exact road setup and this tower formation in there. He says he has a lot of gargoyle towers and water towers as well. Typically, you don't need that many gargoyle towers in a base because the gargoyle tower is very strong and effective against knights and against hordes of knights. If there's only a couple knights here and there, it's not going to be that effective. And once you have, 1 or 2 gargoyle towers and they burn all the knights, that's typically going to be it for the big horde of knights. And now you're going to slowly see, 1 and 2 knights coming at a time, and it's not going to be a big, clump of knights anymore. And that's the same thing with the bomb towers. Bomb towers are very good against big clumps of units that the hero is not around, that they can explode and do tons of splash damage. So I would assume that he has a lot of these gargoyle towers or water towers around, and it's just going to be too many. And it's going to allow cannons to actually just come up and mow down his base with pretty much ease. So that's what I'm thinking off the bat here, is that his base is very, very weak to cannons. So we'll see how that goes. And then the water towers just in general aren't very effective at all. I haven't found any use, even, I haven't leveled them up at all, but even in high level gameplay, no one uses water towers whatsoever. So you'd probably be off better putting more arrow towers to do damage to the hero and damage to the troops. Troop selection looks good. Lots of paladins, then a few arblasters and pyromancers. So we'll see how this goes. We're going to go in there with Hammer Strike on first. And then we're not going to get fooled like last time. We're going to bring our Firestorm, and then we're going to bring Sword Rain, just in case he does have some hidden Firebolt towers like the last opponent we fought. So we're going to go with a pretty standard spell selection. And then Knights, Cannons, and then we'll put Pyromancers on there, just in case. But the third troop really doesn't matter much. So we're going to go and attack. We're going to start off with 2 cannons because we're fairly close to the barriers and spikes. And then if I'm able to come up here and actually just... he doesn't have a Pyromancer in his other wave. but I was trying to wait so I could get all these guys and then attack his other pyromancer as well at the same time. I was trying to kill 2 pyromancers with 1 sword rain. And so that's one of the other negatives of having that little spot right there, is that I'm able to attack his troops there when my hero first starts the battle. So we've gotten over to the corner. That should be a big issue, but it hasn't been an issue whatsoever because there's no towers or anything over there that is, stopping us from getting over here. So we got over here very quickly. Things are going down. We just lost our cannons, our second cannon, I believe. So the firestorm actually works well against the water towers as well. You can see the water tower goes down with ease, 1 firestorm. Bring out more cannons. Gonna go just slowly burn that and then come over here, allow my knights to finish off that arrow tower while I also draw the fire of all the troops. So I can come back here and kill the paladin. And you see we ended this battle with a lot of time left. Still 39 seconds, it looked like. And that's why I said anything that has 10 trophies or less, you typically should be able to 100% and defeat them. So even with a different spell and troop formation, we probably could have done fairly well there. We had a lot of time. The things seemed to drop fairly quickly. Don't want that. Let's go back in and take a look at what he can do to make it a little bit better. So, I guess the first thing stands out is the spikes don't really do much. The water towers don't do much either. Take out the spikes, put more barriers. Even if you just take out all these spikes and put like a barrier here, and another one over here, like in this section, that would draw the battle over here and make it take longer. And then these troops would be more effective to killing all the reinforcements that are getting called up. You don't want your hero to get over to this spot right away, because once he gets over there, all the ranged troops are going to die in, a sword rain, a hammer strike, or a firestorm. All the ranged troops are very weak to close combat, so you want to keep them as far away from the hero as possible. Another suggestion for this base would be, like I said, to remove all the water towers and add arrow towers, and you can even take some of those and put them over here, or you can put like 1 gargoyle tower over here and then have the arrow towers scattered out throughout the rest of the base. Another thing that works out fairly well is shifting this road 1 over, so the road's like right here, and so then that way you have a spot in this area as well where your roads kind of intersect. And so the only way to get to these troops that are sitting on this road would be to, follow the road all the way down and come up through here. So it'd be another intersection where your troops can actually attack from a distance and be safe. So shifting the whole road over 1 to where this tower is and where this tower is probably would give you a lot more strength defense-wise for your ranged troops. So you would shift all this over 1, and then you would have, I believe 1 or 2 extra road spaces as well. So if you do that, then you're going to play with your road and probably extend the road over here 1 little space. So that probably would help out quite a bit. So then you'd have 2 intersections. You'd have this one down here, and then you'd have an intersection up here as well. So give that a try. Try barriers and barricades instead of spikes. The troop selection looks pretty good. If you are having issues, a very, very standard troop selection that works really well is just going like 4 paladins in 1 wave with 1 pyromancer, and then doing that for every single wave. But your base is set up for a more ranged battle, so having the ranged troops works well. But yeah, you can always go with the standard of like 4 pyromancers or 3 pyromancer, or not 4 or 5 paladins and 1 pyromancer in every single wave. That works out pretty well because the paladins have a ton of life, and then the pyromancers will be able to throw fireballs constantly and do burn damage to everything. So those are 2 options you could do. Overall, this base right now is not very good. I'd probably give it about a 6 out of 10. Like I said, try different things, and yeah, if you have any questions or have any thoughts, please post them down in the comments down below, and I'll try and help you as best as I can. Thanks!